When Roseanne first aired in 1988, television changed overnight. It wasn't about perfect people or fancy homes anymore. It was about the Connors, a loud, loving, working-class family just trying to make ends meet. John Goodman, as Dan Connor, became the symbol of the everyman. He was warm, funny, and flawed in all the right ways. Roseanne Barr's wit and attitude gave the show its heart and its bite. Viewers saw themselves on screen for the first time. Ratings soared. Critics called it the most honest show in America. But behind those laughs, cracks were forming. The fame, the pressure, and the growing egos would soon push everyone to the edge. Goodman later admitted, "We were family, but not every family stays together." The success of Roseanne came fast, and it came heavy. Roseanne Barr went from stand-up comedian to one of TV's most powerful women almost overnight. Everyone wanted a piece of her time. John Goodman was becoming a movie star too, filming The Big Easy and Raising Arizona. But with fame came tension. Roseanne wanted control of everything: scripts, cast, writers, even lighting choices. Some say she didn't just want perfection, she demanded loyalty. Goodman once hinted that the mood on set could change in an instant. Crew members described it as walking on eggshells. What was once a dream job began to feel like survival. There were good days, Goodman said softly in an interview. And then there were days you just kept your head down and worked. On screen, the Connors made everyone laugh. Off-screen, things weren't so funny. Roseanne's marriage was falling apart. John Goodman was battling exhaustion and beginning to drink heavily. He admitted years later, "I was just trying to keep up with everything, and I started slipping." The pressure to be perfect was crushing. Roseanne's control grew tighter and her temper shorter. Writers would rewrite scenes 10 minutes before taping. The cast would fake smiles for the cameras. Goodman said, "We loved what we did, but it was getting harder to find the joy." Even as the laughter played for millions of viewers at home, the people behind it were barely holding on. As Roseanne dominated the ratings, the show became a war zone of creative control. Roseanne wanted the show to reflect her exact vision, her life, her words, her truth. But others wanted collaboration. Goodman tried to stay out of it, but he couldn't ignore the rising tension. Directors came and went. Writers quit. Even the network started to worry. One producer called the set a beautiful mess. Goodman recalled, "Sometimes I'd walk into the studio, and you could feel the storm before anyone said a word." Roseanne's intensity kept the show brilliant, but it also made it brittle. The family bond that once made Roseanne special was slowly breaking apart. The cast began drifting. Sarah Gilbert, Lacey Goranson, and Laurie Metcalf were growing up, moving on, and exploring new roles. John Goodman was landing major film roles, balancing Hollywood and the small screen. Roseanne noticed. She feared losing the show's unity, and perhaps her control. According to some insiders, she started taking things personally. If a co-star got more attention, it bothered her. Goodman, the show's emotional anchor, began to pull away quietly. "We stopped talking like we used to," he said. It wasn't anger, it was distance. The energy that once made Roseanne unstoppable was fading. Something deeper than fame or ratings was breaking down: trust. Behind the scenes, John Goodman was facing his own battle: alcoholism. He later revealed that the stress and fame pushed him toward the bottle. "I was scared to death of success," he confessed. Roseanne noticed the change. At times, she tried to help. Other times, she clashed with him. "We were both strong personalities," Goodman said. "We blow up, then go back to work like nothing happened." But the cracks were widening. Fans still loved Dan and Roseanne, but the people behind them were falling apart. By season 8, Goodman's absences became noticeable. Roseanne once admitted she felt abandoned. The family on screen was fictional, but the pain between them was very real. In 1997, Roseanne came to an end after 9 seasons. The finale shocked fans. Dan Connor was revealed to have died of a heart attack. Goodman had already been appearing less frequently, and many thought he had left for good. Roseanne said it was the only way to close the story. But years later, Goodman would admit he didn't agree with that ending. "It didn't feel right," he said. "It felt like a goodbye we didn't need." When the show ended, the cast went their separate ways. Roseanne faded from TV for a while. Goodman rebuilt his life, focused on recovery, and turned to film. But something about Roseanne always stayed with him: unfinished business. Years later, nostalgia brought talk of revival. Fans wanted the Connors back. Goodman and Roseanne reconnected after years apart. Both had changed. Goodman was sober, calmer, wiser. Roseanne had matured too, eager to make amends and recapture the old magic. The idea of a reboot gained traction, and soon, Roseanne returned in 2018. The world went wild. Ratings were massive. The chemistry between Goodman and Roseanne was still there. For a moment, it felt like old times. But behind the scenes, some people worried. The world had changed, and so had Roseanne's public image. Goodman admitted, "We were nervous. We knew how fragile this could be." Then it happened, the moment that ended Roseanne forever. In May 2018, Roseanne Barr posted a controversial tweet that went viral for all the wrong reasons. The backlash was instant and fierce. ABC moved fast. Within hours, the network canceled Roseanne. Decades of legacy vanished overnight. John Goodman was heartbroken, but stayed quiet at first. He later said, "It felt like a death in the family." The cast was blindsided. Crew members lost their jobs. Fans were stunned. Goodman refused to condemn Roseanne publicly, saying only, "I know her heart." But deep down, he knew, this time, there was no coming back. In the days after the cancellation, chaos erupted. Roseanne was apologizing publicly and privately. ABC was scrambling to protect its image. Goodman kept a low profile. "I didn't want to make things worse," he said. Inside, he was torn. He loved Roseanne like family, but he couldn't defend what she'd said. It was painful, he admitted. We'd worked our whole lives for something that disappeared overnight. The cast tried to support each other, but it wasn't the same. "It wasn't just a show," Goodman said. "It was our lives, and it ended with one mistake." After the storm, ABC approached Goodman with a surprising idea: continue the story without Roseanne. He hesitated. "At first, I didn't want to," he said. "It felt wrong." But the rest of the cast wanted to save the crew and honor the fans. That's how The Connors was born. Goodman returned as Dan, older, sadder, but still standing. The show dealt with Roseanne's absence head-on, writing her character off as dead. It was emotional and raw. Goodman said it was the only way we could keep the family together. Yet behind the new show's success, one truth lingered: it would never be the same. In interviews after her firing, Roseanne expressed deep regret. "I wish I'd never said it," she admitted. "I lost everything." Goodman stayed kind but distant. He called her his friend, but avoided public conflict. Over time, Roseanne began to blame others, the media, the network, even her co-stars. Goodman refused to respond harshly. "I can't add to her pain," he said. But privately, he was hurt. The show that once brought laughter to millions had ended in tragedy. Goodman would later say, "It's hard watching someone you care about fall apart in front of the world." Over the years, Goodman focused on peace. He worked on The Connors, continued his film career, and stayed sober. When asked if he missed Roseanne, he paused. "I miss the good times," he said softly. "The laughter. The family we built." He didn't excuse her actions, but he didn't erase her either. She was a genius in her way, he admitted. But sometimes genius burns too hot. Fans praised Goodman for his loyalty and grace. He had survived fame, addiction, and heartbreak, and come out stronger. The man who once played America's dad had become one for real. In a rare interview, John Goodman finally spoke the truth about what really ended Roseanne forever. "It wasn't one tweet," he said. "It was years of pressure, fame, mistakes, and hurt that never got healed." He explained that the show's downfall began long before 2018. "We were all tired. We'd been through too much. That tweet was just the last straw." His words stunned fans. For Goodman, Roseanne was never about controversy, it was about family. "Families fall apart sometimes," he said. "That's life. You try to forgive. You move on. But it still hurts." Today, John Goodman looks back at Roseanne with gratitude and sadness. He's proud of what they created, a show that spoke to millions of real people. But he knows it could never truly return. "That moment's gone," he said. "We had our time." The world has changed, but the laughter of Roseanne still echoes through TV history. Goodman remains humble, grounded, and thankful. "It taught me everything," he said, "about love, pain, and forgiveness." In the end, the truth is simple. Roseanne didn't end because of one mistake. It ended because, like every family, sometimes love just isn't enough to hold everyone together.